Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Black Diamond Call for Monday, the 15th of August. Yes, we are calling this the Black Diamond now, and I need to give a shout out just as we're starting this call. I need to shout out to our good friend Dallas over at Corporate, who came up with this enhanced name for this call. It used to be the Black Belt Marketing, but we took it on the mountain. We can thank Dallas for the renaming of this call. So Dallas, if you're listening, we love you, man. Thank you for all you do behind the scenes here in Digital Altitude. And tonight, my friends, if this is your first ever Black Diamond Call, well, I guess in a way that it's all of our first ever Black Diamond Call, but if it's your first ever Black Diamond Call, hang on to your seats because we do this call a little different than the other calls in the schedule. Hopefully you're tuning into the wake-up calls and Inside Digital Altitude, and we're going to be having our On the Rise call this Wednesday. But on this call, you get to hear completely unscripted, totally raw, very street, very in your face. You're going to hear my opinion on stuff, me, John Lavenia, how I work my businesses, and you're also going to be hearing the same from our guest speaker, which is a different top earner each week here on the Black Diamond. So the rules for this call are, whether you're old or new, old that doesn't necessarily mean age, by the way, but if you're a seasoned veteran or you just got started in business yesterday, here are the rules. Take what you like and leave the rest. This is a buffet. And invariably, you're going to find things that you resonate with. Take them, see how you can use them in your business, okay? This is hopefully all very nice and entertaining, but we want it to be usable and instructive as well. So take what you like, leave the rest, see how you can apply this stuff. And of course, if myself or my host say anything that offends you, you'll get over it. That's how we roll on the Black Diamond, because this is the top of the mountain. This is the apex, so to speak. So today we're going to be talking about something that I think is going to be very pleasing, especially for our new members, right? I mean, after all, we look at Digital Altitude. I mean, the whole operation is that we're all new here. All of us are newbies, everybody. We're all learning together. That being said, sometimes people who are even more new than I am, and I've only been in this industry for about 15 years, or successful at least that long at it, been in it for longer than that. But when we're even newer than that, sometimes we think, well, it's got to be something special, something extraordinary that I need to do for me to become a top earner, for me to get to that apex, for me to reach that summit and be able to hit the Black Diamond, so to speak. And, you know, I have found, and I think that we're going to hear a lot about this tonight, and again, it's going to be very pleasing for our newer members. I have found that I don't have to do anything extraordinary. In other words, I don't have to be a superhero. Now, when I think about all the different ways that people can pursue a living, that people can pursue earning money, and earning the level of income that's possible here in Digital Altitude and in this whole top-tier direct selling industry. Some people, you know, they pay a big price to make the kind of money that people can make here. For example, brain surgeon, right? Now, I've never been a brain surgeon. It hasn't really crossed my mind as something that I would pursue, but I know that there are brain surgeons that make a decent amount of money. I'm not sure if they make, you know, $100,000 a month plus, like, you know, some of the people here in our community, but, you know, they're still, you know, they're pretty well paid. Now, they had to go to a lot of school. They had to really do a lot of work to get to that point. And then there's really no guarantee that they're going to be accepted as a brain surgeon, that they've got to certainly qualify. Maybe they don't have the, you know, the skills that it takes to hold that scalpel exactly right. So there's a lot of variables in there. But by and large, if people are dedicated to that field of work, they can make it. It's a long, arduous path. What's another one? Here's one that I was in for a little bit, and that is the music business. Now, we can all see examples of, you know, some superstar that may just be a teenager or something that, you know, yesterday was playing, you know, video games, and now, you know, they had a hit. And suddenly they're a YouTube sensation, and, you know, they've made it, you know, online, and they're getting record deals and screaming fans at their concerts and all this. Now, I was in the music business for a little bit. Excuse me, not in popular music, by the way. I was in the heavy metal world, which is not very profitable. It can be, I guess, if you're as dedicated as a band like, you know, Metallica or AC/DC or something, but that was not what we were doing. It was more of a hobby, but it was an enterprise nonetheless. Now, I can look at making it in the music business and what it would take for me to really, really make it in that business. It would take something extraordinary. It would take a whole lot of marketing. It would take a very formulaic approach to the music that's produced, how it's put out to the public. I mean, it's a big, big business that one out of maybe 50,000 people make it to that stardom level, make it to that extraordinary, the exception. And I can't name too many pop stars these days, but I would imagine, I don't know, Lady Gaga or something, right? So for every Lady Gaga, there's probably 49,999, thousand non-Lady Gagas who didn't make it. So that's an extraordinary example. That's someone who has dedicated a whole lot of time, energy, and commitment to creating that sort of an experience. And then, I can tell you about in the music business, then it's not even so much about talent, right? Like with the brain surgeon, they got to be really talented, right? Think about it. If you needed brain surgery or open heart surgery or something, would you want to have, a mediocre surgeon? No, probably not. You'd want somebody who, would lose sleep if they made even the slightest mistake, like somebody who's really got their ego invested in it, and their aptitude would have to be, of the utmost for you to even be, willing to go that route and, have operations and have people that are allegedly qualified to work with you on that. Now, in the entertainment world, by contrast, there's a bit of, what some people would call luck. I would say probably more accurately, it would be connections, being well connected, and yes, in some cases luck, like that formula just happened to work with the radio listening crowd and the teenagers and all this. And sometimes the most talented people, and I can attest to this because I've been in that business, sometimes the most talented people are the proverbial starving artist. As talented as they are, unlike the brain surgeon, they can't get work, right? They're out and, scrounging for food like a rat. And very talented though, right? So musical ability didn't have anything to do really with their marketability. So here we find ourselves in home-based business, direct sales, affiliate marketing, and we've got an opportunity to earn the kind of money that people who have done something extraordinary and shocked the marketplace, so to speak. We've got to earn that level of income, that opportunity to do that. And so sometimes we assume, especially when we're new, that we've got to be, some spectacular, amazing Herculean effort has to take place for us to be able to reach these heights. And I can tell you, my friends, that that was not the case with me, and not the case with the person who I'm about to bring out on this call. Again, this should be a very relieving, a sigh of relief for everyone. In fact, the thing that got it done more than anything, listen, the thing that got it done, the thing that got us on the black diamond was focus and consistency. Yes, focus we could attribute also to the brain surgeon, the pop star, right? It doesn't happen by accident. Okay, you got to focus. And what does that mean? That means that, like the old, Confucian proverb, the fox that chases two rabbits catches neither, right? That means focus on one thing. Catch that rabbit. Catch that one rabbit. Don't chase two rabbits. Don't chase five. You'll not catch any of them. Okay, so focus on one rabbit. Catch that rabbit. Okay, so that's the first thing. And then consistency is the other half of it. So you can be not extraordinary. You could be, obviously above average in terms of your drive and motivation and your focus, right? Obviously, if you've got focus. But then as far as like doing something amazing or that the public considers amazing, like a pop star or, something that is like a 1 in a million sort of shot, which we might look at and say that's more based on luck. You don't have to have that. You don't have to be so extraordinary that you are that you do something once that shocks the world. In fact, our biggest results come by compounding the small things that we do again and again and again, but we do them right. We do them with focus. We do them with diligence. We touched on this earlier this week or last week on one of the calls. With diligence, we take delight in our work, and that compounds to the point where we've got an asset, and that asset is our business, our list, our influence in the marketplace. Yes, it can happen in a shocking, Herculean effort. Although in most cases, like mine and with our guest host here tonight, it was more about the focus and the consistency. I'll leave you with a quote, and then I'm going to go ahead and bring out our speaker. The quote is from a guy named Albert E.N. Gray. If you're a note taker, well, you don't need to take notes. You can always Google this, right? All information you can find on Google. Here we go. Albert E.N. Gray. He worked with the Prudential Insurance Corporation, and this was back in the 1950s. He gave a speech to the entire field of his subordinates or his regional managers or whoever these people in the audience was. And his speech was called The Common Denominator of Success. I want you to listen to one of the things that he said in that speech. You can download a transcript. Maybe I'll post it on one of our Facebook groups, and you can just download a PDF or something. But I've got this indelibly burned into my brain because it's so profound. Here's what he said. He studied all different people in all different walks of life, including in Prudential Insurance and outside of Prudential Insurance and all over the place, because he wanted to find the one common denominator of success. And it had to apply to all people in all endeavors. And because that's what he was looking for, that's what he found, the common denominator of success. And he said, here it is. Here it is, ladies and gentlemen. Are you ready? Here it comes. The common denominator of success is that successful people have formed the habit of doing things that failures don't like to do. That's it. Do that. What a relief, right? Now we might say, well, are these people lucky? They like to do these things and the rest of us don't like to do them? No, they don't like doing them either. They just form the habit of doing it anyway. The word I'd like for you to put your attention on, my friends, is habit. They have formed the habit. We're talking about consistency here. And I'll tell you what, like Ralph Waldo Emerson said, do the thing and you'll get the energy to do the thing. That's what we're talking about. Get focused on the thing, decide what the thing is, and then do that thing to the point where you've formed a habit, and you will instantly and automatically find yourself part of that rare and successful group that has formed the habit of doing things that certainly anybody could have done, but you're the one who chose to do them. And with that, I'm going to bring out our guest host, a guy who I've known for a couple of years, a guy who has become one of the top earners, not only in this company, but in this industry. He and his wife are just a pleasure to see whenever I'm at events with them around the world. And if you don't already know, because maybe you weren't on the Facebook group just earlier, I'm talking about Mr. Alex Zubarev. Alex, can I hear you, sir? Are you there? Alex, let's make sure you are on the host line, sir. Alex, are you with us? Oh boy, second time today we've had a host who is not on the host line. Let me go ahead and see if I can help Alex out. Hold on a second, just everyone, hold on for a moment. All right, Alex, if you can, and only Alex, if you can press *6 on your phone, let's see if we can hear you, sir. All right, Alex.
Can you hear me?
Okay, hold on a second. Where are you, Alex? Go ahead and speak.
Can you hear me?
I can. Hello? There you are.
Awesome. Awesome.
Fantastic. Somehow the host pin must not have worked, Alex, but we are glad you're here. I'm going to go ahead and turn the call over to you. We're talking about focus and consistency, two of your favorite topics, I believe.
Absolutely, brother. And welcome everybody to the call. It's a pleasure to co-host this with John Lavinia on this, what do we call it, Black Diamond?
Black Diamond? This is a Black Diamond, that's right.
That's awesome. You know, it's one of those rare gemstones that once you find them, you hold on to them. That's what I think about it, because that's truly what defines digital altitude opportunity for everybody. It's that rare gemstone, if you will, that doesn't happen too frequently. You don't find it too frequently if you're lucky to find it once in a lifetime. So here's the quick introduction to you guys. Some people that don't know me, some people know me. We met with John a couple of years ago at multiple events, and I was always one of those introverted guys, you know, like if you guys can relate to that. I don't know if you guys on the computer, if you can put it on the chat, or if you can just tell me silently and I'll hear you somehow, you know, using my own other sense. But in any case, if a guy like me, you know, can come to a country, you know, without knowing English language, you know, having English as a secondary language, coming with no money, no connections, can do this. So can you. So this is the purpose of this call, guys, to really share my story and really instill that belief level that anyone can do this if they only focus and being consistent on those little tiny things that unsuccessful people are not willing to do, right? It's a real simple formula, simple math that it doesn't take, you know, multiple degrees, doesn't take PhD, doesn't take any specialized knowledge, if you will. Just like John mentioned, like if you want to become a brain surgeon, I'll give you example. I have a teammate, Mark. He's oral surgeon. All right, so let's not go too far, but he's an oral surgeon. He has a dental practice, right? So I asked him, like, Mark, like, how much did you spend on your education? How much did you spend on your dental practice? And he was like, Alex, you're not gonna believe this. I spent about 12 years of my life going through the dental school, right? Going to the practice, and then I spent over $200,000 on that education alone, right? Plus $600,000 to open my practice. So overall, he spent over $800,000 on a glorified job. That's how he calls it. That he absolutely hates now, because now that he saw that, hey, all of us have this laptop lifestyle. We can make money on demand pretty much while we sleep, while we travel, while we're on a plane, while we're on a yacht, while we somewhere hanging out with our friends, right? It's all about having that automated income that cranks predictable income for you day in and day out. And this is what it's all about, guys. If we can do this, if I can do it, so can you. So let me take you back a couple of years ago. Well, actually, about 4 years ago, I was, broke, frustrated. I was living paycheck to paycheck. I had a corporate job. I was working for Time Magazine in New York. I'm from New York. And was working in a dead-end job pretty much, which all of my relatives and my wife told me, like, wow, you arrived, man. Like, this is like the coolest job ever. You get to, ride the train, the B train for like 1 hour one way, an hour another way, and you get to have that stable check, right? That stable income or whatever you want to call it that kept me enslaved in that cubicle, right? And I just like, by the time, I had my daughter, I like realized like this is not where I want to be for the rest of my life, right? So I started looking for a way out. I was looking for a system, for opportunity that I can plug into to really go full-time, replace my full-time income, right? My wanted to replace my six-figure income, right? So started dabbling with different opportunities, different network marketing companies, and obviously I had no skills, right? But at the same time, I didn't realize I was missing three very important components. So pay attention to this call, because you're going to learn a lot, hopefully, and you'll be able to take it, use it to your business and take it to the next level, right? Because that's ultimately my goal, to help you guys, not just give you belief level, but give you tangible stuff that you can run with, right? So basically what happened was I got, involved with multiple companies that were like, like vitamins, pills, juices, you name it, like the stuff that didn't pay much, right? So like I would sell a product, I would get somebody on auto ship, somebody has to pay like over $200 for the juice they really don't want to spend that much money on, if you know what I mean. So, and it's a great product and all that stuff, but it doesn't pay that much, right? So it's really, really hard to go full-time with that kind of compensation plan. Plus, most people don't have skills. Nobody wants to, talk to people on the phone, right? Nobody wants to convince anybody. Nobody wants to, go off to work and do hotel meetings and invite friends and family, and then nobody shows up. Guys, like, I've been there. I've done that. I decided that I'm going to do whatever it takes to succeed. And you know what? I spun my wheels for like 2 years because the business model was broken, right? The business model was broken. The people that were, if you want to say, on the top of the mountain preaching one thing, but they were doing complete opposite thing, which is totally different here. We're actually here telling you what we're doing every single day. So you can just copy and paste our daily action, what we do, right? And get the results you want. But not before this, not before this opportunity, not before this system. But I realized, you know what? The stuff that my sponsor, the stuff that company was teaching me clearly was not working, right? My wife obviously thought I was crazy because I was racking up my credit card debt really, really fast, and those auto ship boxes were accumulating in my closet, right? Anybody can relate to that, And people at work obviously were making jokes about me, being crazy that I was an entrepreneur and just like not settling for what I had, right? I knew I wanted something bigger than that, right? I didn't want to be enslaved in that job. So obviously, I jumped online. What I did was basically I jumped online. I started researching like, man, I need to figure this out. I need to figure out like I see other people making 6 figures a month. I see people making 7 figures a year, right? So I know it's possible. If other people can do it, so can I. But what's the missing ingredient? What am I missing? What's the missing component, right? So I jumped on, big old friend Google, which is, by the way, it's free, if you guys heard of that website. And I started searching, right? Like, how do I generate leads online? How do I find more people to talk to about my MLM company, right? So I came across a couple of information products, and this is when my journey started, like where I really realized, man, I need to build up some skills, man. Like, I need to really take this business seriously, not like a hobby. If I want abnormal results, right, not typical results, I need to invest in my education, my knowledge, right, and then I need to apply that knowledge. So that's the takeaway for you guys. As you go through the products, as you accumulate that knowledge, what you need to do is you need to apply that knowledge so you start generating results. You listen to your coaches and really kind of like drop the ego if you have the ego. Like I used to have an ego because, hey, I'm this big shot. I have this corporate job making 6 figures a year, not a month, right? Living paycheck to paycheck. So I had to drop my ego and really kind of rewire my brain for success, right? I had to kind of like brainwash myself and really start from scratch, from zero, right? Pretty much that's what happened because I wasn't making money, right? In my different companies I was trying to build. And I realized that, man, I need to really invest into education. And another problem that happened, this is like, this is the lessons you can take and will save you a lot of time and frustration and a lot of money too. Because the moment I started investing in my education, buying courses after courses after courses on credit cards, obviously, I really was not taking action. I was not applying any knowledge. I'm like, if you asked me back 4 years ago, like about like Google PPC, about YouTube, about Facebook, man, I could have answered any question you would have asked me because, man, I just went through those products diligently. I just read everything, But the problem is I never applied anything. So I realized, man, I'm not getting any results. What's going on? I keep buying products, right? But I'm not really using them. So that's a biggie, if you will. You need to really apply the stuff. It's like, imagine this, you're buying yourself a fast sports car, right? You have, I don't know what your dream car is. Maybe it's Maserati, maybe it's Lamborghini, maybe it's a typical BMW, I don't know, right? But if you just let it sit in the garage, accumulate dust, you're never going to win any race, right? You're never going to really enjoy that vehicle, right? That fast-moving car if you don't actually get behind the wheel, right? If you don't shift the gears and you don't press the pedal, right? And you don't do practice around the racetrack, if you will, if you want to win the race, right? So you really need to get behind the wheel, right? You need to take action. You need to take charge of your business. So this is what I realized back then, man, I need to just start applying. Like I was listening to my mentors. I see that it's generating results. So I'm like, you know what? I'm going to stop doing this thing that some of you guys are doing, getting things ready before you're ready, right? Like getting things perfectly aligned, like rearranging stuff on your desk, like doing all this non-productive activities, right? The stuff that will never make you money unless you actually take action, right? So this is what I realized, and I just said, like, people are gonna think I have an accent. I don't care. I'm gonna stop worrying about that. I'm just gonna start doing videos. I'm gonna start sending emails. I'm gonna start, buying traffic. And you know what? I'm gonna break things along the way. I'm gonna learn how it works, right? So this is exactly what happened. What a breakthrough. I just started using the products. I just started using the knowledge that I learned from the products. But you know what? I wish I had mentors back then. I wish I had someone to call, like a coach, that you guys have in this opportunity. There's no opportunity that I'm aware of that has, 7-figure coaches available to you at your disposal pretty much to help you build your business, right? To help you really structure the business plan so you can hit your income goal at the amount of time you have available, right? So even if you're part-time, like I wish I had this opportunity when I was starting out when I was part-time. Well, I only had like 2 hours a day to work my business. I wish I had digital out. I wish I met Michael Force back then. I didn't know him. He was in the industry for over 20 years, but you know what? I didn't know him. So I went on for like 2 years spinning my wheels, racking up credit card debt and really joining literally over, I think 12 opportunities, I believe, not really making any money. And, my wife calling me all the sorts of names in both languages, English and Russian. All right. So, so I wish you guys, I was in the position that you guys are. Some of you guys don't realize the potential, the immense power of the system at your disposal. The knowledge that your coaches have that already done that. They went through the trenches. They already tried those things that you're trying to do, and they know exactly what's working, right? You have access to all the top leaders in the company teaching you, right, on these calls, on the webinars. I'm going to have so much training, especially in Las Vegas, right, and the event that I'm freaking stoked and pumped to go there. Most of my team is coming, right, and it's only, in October? It's only, 2 months away, so I'm excited about that. That place is going to be crazy, man, because we got, okay, so my results, right, this is my personal results. Started Digital Altitude about 90 days ago, a little bit over 90 days, right? Now we made over $200,000 in commissions. This is crazy. I'll tell you, comparison. The previous company I was involved with, it took me over 3 years to make $1 million, which is cool, right? It's pretty good, right? But here it's growing, I would say, 6 to 7 times faster. I see brand new people, brand new teammates that join my team, and they already making sales after they completed all 18 steps, and they're making those high-ticket commissions. I watch Facebook group all day, and I'm blown away by the amount of success stories we're creating, by the speed of the speed of success, if you want to call that. The time it takes someone to climb from the bottom of the mountain all the way to the top of the mountain, which is crazy, absolutely insane. It's never been done in this industry. I've been online, I guess, from now, total 6, 7 years, 8 years, something like that. I never seen a system that would duplicate like this, which is crazy. I'm checking my stats pretty much every day, and it pretty much doubles every single month, the amount of people on the team, people duplicating on tier 2, tier 3, brand new people, brand freaking spanking new people, just maybe you who's listening to this call. So you have to realize you're in the right place. What you need to do is really focus like a laser, stop getting distracted, right, from all this stuff, nonsense that's happening maybe on social media with all those, here today, gone tomorrow type of deals. That half, most of, I would say more than half of them are not even legitimate, right? So you might actually get in hot waters with those kind of things. So if you care about your reputation and your name online, you probably don't want to even bother and really think twice before you even think about it. You know what I mean? So take it with a grain of salt. This is my personal opinion. John is probably going to agree with me. We'll hear him later on. But this is something that I hate to see when people do. They're getting distracted and they're getting the power focus, right? The power focus. Here's the power focus. If you take the magnifying glass, right, and you go outside if it's sunny, right? If you really hold that magnifying glass against the paper or newspaper or wherever for 30 seconds, it's gonna catch fire, right? Why? Because you're focused. You're really focusing all your energy in one spot, right? And this is applied power, right? This is what takes that fire to start, right? But if you start moving that magnifying glass from left to right, up and down, well, guess what? You're never going to start the fire that way. You're never going to start the fire. So, my friend, do you want to start the fire, right? Or do you want to, play around and not make any money? That's my question to you, really, because that realization, that breakthrough, if you will, it happened to me when I really decided to do whatever it takes. I look at myself in the mirror, right? And I said, you know what, Alex? Stop screwing around. And I can use stronger language with you guys, but hey, this is the way I talk. Stop screwing around, right? And just really focus, right? Just take massive action every single day You don't need to know every single trick of the game. Like technical stuff is secondary. What's more important, guys, is your mindset and personal development that most people, most new people will ignore, unfortunately, right? Because they don't have that experience. They haven't went through those trenches, right? That they haven't been in the trenches with us, right? And if you're brand new, listen to this. Do not ignore personal development. Read the right books. Listen to these calls. Consistently reprogram your mind for success. Listen to replays of the webinars. Do not ignore this stuff. This is like 80% of your success. 20% is technical. Building lists, sending emails, sending traffic, whatever. Converting that list, converting those emails on the back end and all that other stuff, right? Which you're going to learn from the products, right? And at the live events, the stuff you're going to learn is going to blow your mind, right? Absolutely. It's going to take your game to the whole next level. Absolutely. I can guarantee you that because I know, check this out. So last month, we got invited to all expenses paid resort in Cancun, Mexico, right? Top 15 affiliates in the company and top 15 coaches in the company. And I had the best time of my life. I never been treated by the company and by the owners like this. We felt like, you can ask anybody who was there, we felt like we've been treated like royalty. It was a 5-star resort. Everything was taken care of. Amazing service. But those things that company did for us, it was just amazing. Like those little touches. And the people that we met, absolutely phenomenal. The power of the people I met, it's crazy, man. Like it's amazing. Like I knew some people, but half of them I never met in my life. So this is how real how powerful this company is going to get. We're growing like crazy right now. But you guys, you have to realize one thing, the timing, right? Right now we're in August, right? September is coming. Guess what happens in September? In the home business arena, in home business niche, if you will, September, October, November, the hottest, the biggest month of the year. This is when, kids go back to school, parents come back, right, from vacations, and they realize, oh my God, the holidays are coming. How am I going to buy those gifts? Thanksgiving is coming, Christmas is coming, So they get serious, and they really get serious with their business, home businesses, right? So this is why you want to build your foundation, your concrete foundation right now, right? Pour the concrete. You really want to build a solid house, right? I'm hearing background noise. I'm not sure if that's you, John, or not. But if you really want to build a solid structure, solid house, you really need to build a strong foundation, which is now. And here's what it means for you. What you need to do is really need to complete all of the 18 steps in the system and follow what the coaches tell you. Position yourself for success, right? Position yourself for success, because if you really want to hit $10,000 a month, 20,000, or even 50 or $100,000 a month, it's all doable here. Even this year, before the end of this year, if you really do it proper way, if you don't deviate from the system, if you really drop the ego, if you have the ego, drop the ego, and really follow what the coach is telling you to do, because they built businesses like this in the past. They know what they're doing. So you kind of have to empty your cup, right, just like Bruce Lee says, right, and absorb that knowledge, right, get that knowledge that's available to you, right, so you're just a phone call away, a Skype call away from your coach, right, so this is what I want you to do. And I'll give you another story, power of consistency, or just a quick story, because I think we still have time. Quick story, guys. And this is not my personal story. I can share tons of my stories, but I want to give you another perspective from things. Power of consistency. There's another entrepreneur that I know. Some of you guys might know him. Kam Mirza. Okay, so he's also ultra successful. But here's the thing. He never gave up on his dreams, and I'll give you a quick story. He's an immigrant from, I believe, from Pakistan. I might be wrong. But he came to Canada when he was young. He always wanted to be an entrepreneur, to build business, right? Starting with like lemonade stands and all that stuff. And he had tons of failures in business, and he got to a point where he couldn't pay the bills anymore, right? And he had an opportunity to build his last business, so he borrowed, I believe, $50,000 from an uncle, and that business collapsed, and the uncle left. He was living in England, so he he got him back to England because this guy, he couldn't pay his bills anymore. He couldn't even pay the rent, where it would be his next option would be to live on the street. So he came there, get awesome opportunity to build business in UK, because he got 50 grand. But you know what? He burned through that cash, and whatever the business he was building was some kind of wireless communication device. It's just like government changed the regulation for cell phones or something like that. So he needed to come up with like $1.6 million for a licensing fee. And this was his baby. I mean, he wanted to he was like living and dreaming that, right? It was his baby. He was passionate about it, right? So what did he do? He decided to do something that most unsuccessful people not willing to do. He made a list of 300 banks and financial institutions where he would call all from the yellow pages, right? Just to ask for that loan, $1.6 million, without having, like any prototype or anything like that, right? So after hearing no and no and no all day long and all night, right? I think he got six interviews. So here's what happened basically. Quick story short, he went to all 6 of them, heard no from investors and the banks. And the last one, he was like, man, I only have 24 hours left. I'm going to be closed tomorrow, because if I don't pull this off, I'm out of business, right? So then he goes to this guy listens to him for like 10 minutes. He says, and then this guy flips out on him, this banker flips out, and he's like, how dare you even waste my time, you such and such, right? Calling him names. Why even come to my office? You're such a loser, right? You're a failure. Get out from the office, so you threw him out, and this guy is like calm, is like, man, like, this is it, man, I'm done, right? And he doesn't sleep all night, and he wakes up and he's like, man, no, I gotta go back to that office. This schmuck, this mofo, that's what you call him. He's like, I'm gonna tell him how I really feel about him. So he goes back and he's like, man, you know what? You might be like at the level you are right now, but you know what? You cannot treat people like this. You just really cannot treat people. The banker obviously screamed at him again, threw him out. And you know what? This guy comes to, it's an office building, so he sees another door. I was like, what the hell? I'm just going to knock on this door. So he knocks on this door. This guy opens up. He's like, hey, what's up? He's like, oh, your neighbor is such a douchebag, He's like, yeah, I know. Come in. What you got for me? He's like, you really want to hear? I'm like, yeah, tell me. So he starts pitching his deal for 15 minutes. He watches his clock. Man, this guy's still listening. An hour goes by. He's still listening. 2 hours goes by. He's still listening. 3 hours goes by. He's still listening. This guy comes out from that banker with a check for $1.6 million from the guy who just met him like 3 hours ago. And he saves the company, right? And he gets his license or whatever for that wireless technology, right? This is how magical it can become for you if you become consistent, if you never ever give up on your goals, if you stay the course, if you listen to the coaches, you complete freaking roadmap, 18 steps, right? And you don't listen to naysayers, and you know what? Friends and family come into play, man. They come into play. You got to be strong. You got to be strong. You got to be on these goals, man, and you got to come to Vegas. That's how the magic will happen for you. So I know it's Monday night, and I appreciate you guys, you taking your time to, really focus on your business and not watching crazy shows on TV, or maybe watching, I don't know, you could be watching Olympics or politics, debates, and all that stuff, but something that's not going to pay your bills, right? It's going to entertain you for a while, but this is why we invest our time, to help you guys, to really instill that belief that you can do this. If I can do this, man, anyone can, man. If you like, especially if your English is primary language, you have no excuse, man. It's so easy. It's crazy. Just copy and paste your way to success. That's what it's all about. So, John, I don't know, like, I'm not on my computer, so I don't know if people have questions. I would love to have to answer questions if I can and help people more. But I don't know if you're still on the line. I don't know if you're there. If you are, you can just say, Alex.
Alex,
here.
I'm here. And
Man, that
anything else you'd like me to
sounds
say?
awesome.
Alex, let me
That
tell you,
sounds
we got a
awesome.
chat roll going crazy here. People are loving your story and what you're talking about. There's so many great topics you brought up. And of course, the core issue is that focus, keeping the eye on where you want to go, not getting distracted by the shiny objects and all the noise that's online. And at the same time, just building that consistency so you don't have to be a superhero. You just got to be consistent. In fact, Alex, I remember being at a convention with a couple thousand people. This was some years ago where I was a top earner in a company and people were asking me, how did I become a top earner and all this? And I said, I've just been more consistent than anybody up to this point. I suppose if somebody was more consistent than me, then they would be the top earner. But right now I'm the top earner because I've just been doing the same thing for years and years. So, Alex, it's truly it's a breath of fresh air to hear that the simple things do pay off, especially in a field where, a lot of times we see the razzle-dazzle and all that kind of stuff, which is nice and entertaining. But the bottom line is people want to get to the results. They want to get to the dollars. And I think you just laid out a beautiful path for them to do that. Now, typically, Alex would be on a host line where we could take Q&A. But, Alex, you are actually logged in as an attendee, so it's just like everybody else. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to see if we can keep order on the call, but the line is open at this point, and everyone's been very well behaved. Thank you all so much. I'm going to ask you now to go ahead, if you want to ask Alex a question, to go ahead and press *6 on your line. And of course, if you're on the web application, you can just press the microphone button. And let's see if we could share the time. Alex, we've got a good 20 minutes or so if you'd like to take some Q&A. Again, the command, everyone, is *6. That is the command to mute and unmute your lines. And I think we have our first caller. Who's that with us live on the call today?
This is Beth. I just
Beth.
want to say hi to Alex and to thank him for this great and inspiring discussion tonight, because you really brought up some excellent things, Alex, and in a way that's new and refreshing to me. And I look forward to seeing you in Vegas. Thank you.
Awesome. We'll see you in Vegas.
Good to see you, Beth. Glad you're here. And who was the gentleman in the
John.
916 area code?
Myron Haskin.
Hey, Myron, you're live on the call.
Hi, I would like to ask a question to, what's your name again?
Well, I'm John, and
Alex.
is, yeah.
Yes, Alex. I was interested in how was you able to start when you say you can start, anyone can do this, and without any funds or any money to even get rolling on the ball to become one of the next millionaires.
Had tried to solicit someone.
Okay, Alex,
Okay,
you want to hear the question, Alex?
Yeah, if I understand the question correctly, I think from Marvin, I think he said his line was kind of low.
Myron.
But to answer his question, well, I came to this country with a whopping $10 in my pocket, right? So no one can tell me that I was born rich or I was born with a silver spoon in my mouth. You know what? America is a land of opportunity, not a job, right? It's a land of opportunity. You have so much opportunity here to come up with the funds, come up with the startup capital. It's not even a question, right? It's all about being resourceful. It's all about being resourceful with what you have right now, right? I can give you tons of different examples from my personal business, from my personal teammates who came from nothing and built something, right? Came from nothing and built really something substantial. Without mentioning any particular names, I had a guy who was going through a bankruptcy, right? He was going through a bankruptcy. He was foreclosed on his home. His wife was about to leave him, and he really became resourceful. I told him, this is exactly what I told him, all right? And let's call him, I don't know, let's call him John, for example. John, listen, John, this is what I did, man. If you really want to really build this, if you really want to be successful, if you really want to change your life, this is what you do. We're having a live event, and the live event was in Austin, Texas. And I told him, dude, do whatever it takes, get all in, right? I don't know how you do it, just do it, right? And get to the live event, right? This guy, he didn't stayed at the main hotel. He found a cheap hotel. He borrowed money from one of his relatives. And guess what happened? In 1 year, he made in 2 years, I believe, he made like over $400,000 in commissions. And he was foreclosed on a home, started from zero, no experience. He just listened to me because live events, going to be life-changing for you. This is, I can guarantee you that if you come there with like an open book, ready to learn and experience it, it's going to transform your life. You're going to have your breakthrough, right? It's all about being resourceful.
Well, Alex, can I ask you a question? Not to cut you off.
This is, I think this, if you really take this to heart, it's going to change your life, all right?
That's
so
what I
if you
want.
have a different question, go ahead.
What I have a question is, something I wanted to say. I moved from Ohio to California to start all over again. And that's why I'm in the situation where I'm at hand with talking to you now. So that way I can have a life-changing and to go back and let all my friends know. That's why I say me starting with nothing, because I receive payments every month, and I would just have to wait. Right now, in my head is like, am I going to miss out on an opportunity because I have to wait until I receive the next monthly payment?
Hey, Alex, can I jump in here? Can I jump in, Alex?
Yeah,
Myron, are you open to some coaching, sir?
Yes.
Okay, I'm going to offer you a truth that I've seen play out again and again and again in my life and in the lives of others, and that is that which we validate expands. So what that means is we all have circumstances. We all come here with a story, and yet we also, hopefully, we've got a destination. We've got somewhere we're going, and so I'd like to offer you a picture, Myron, and the picture is Myron a year from now. And if you start considering what that could look like, should you follow through on this new path that you've started, and consider what it would feel like, and your coaches can work with you on this as well, but consider what it would feel like now that you've reached goals, now that you're no longer in a state of lack or limitation or whatever the circumstances are that you're dealing with now, whole new possibilities open up for you. And I can tell you, my friends, Myron, it's much more inspiring to move toward something you want than to try and move away from something that you want to get out of. Okay, so start validating and expanding, thereby expanding that which you really want. And keep this in mind, this is sort of like the punchline here. I learned this throughout my years in the direct selling industry. Any sane person would only follow you into this business because they want what you've got. In fact, we're talking about leadership here. No one would follow a leader that does not have a destination. And that's it. That's what a leader is. A leader is a person with a self-determined destination. The leader decides, here's where I'm going, and you can come along with me. That's fine, or not, right? Your choice. But I'm going this way. I've already decided that's where I'm going. Now, any leader without a destination isn't going to have followers unless, it's just the crazy train or something, right? So I'm going to ask you to see Myron as the powerful guy you are, much bigger than your circumstances, because those are all temporary, and they're all based on what? Decisions you made in the past. Utterly irrelevant. I mean, that was 5 minutes ago, man. Who's Myron right now? That's the Myron we want to talk to, and that's the Myron that your people that you're about to attract into this business want to talk to. So be that guy, and then follow what your coaches tell you to do, and it's going to be a whole different conversation by the time we get to Vegas. And I look forward to seeing you there, my friend. Glad you're here.
Okay. Thank you.
Have a great night, sir. We're going to share the time. We're going to go ahead and take a couple more questions. Thank you, Myron and Alex. And I think we've got a couple in the chat roll. Let's take a look here. Our buddy Doug was asking if he can ask a question. Doug says, I want 191 unique clicks to my website each and every day. Okay, keep saying it over and over. So Doug is affirming where he's going. I want 100,000 per month. Now, Doug, I'll just offer you this. If you keep saying I want, you're affirming what? You're affirming that you want. So what do you get? You get to want stuff. Okay, well, whatever. How about I am, right? Or I have. Coming from that position of gratitude, it assumes having this, assumes that you already have something, right? Which is why we market, right, Alex? I mean, we go into the marketplace because we have something, not because we lack. Hey, I need a deal, come give me some money or something. No, we go into the marketplace because we already have something of value. Anyway, But thank you, Doug. I see somebody's in queue here. Chris, if you're in queue, *6, whatever you got to do to come on out. Can we hear Chris or whoever else is next on the line? Nobody. Okay, so last call. If you want to take any other questions, if you're dialed in live via Skype or phones or any technology known to man, *6 will unmute your line if you wanted to come out and participate with Alex, the mighty Alex Zubarev. And I see Anna in the background there. Hi, Anna. All right, who's here on the 512 line? Who's that?
Hi, this is Omar.
Hey, Omar, where are you from?
I'm from Texas, Austin, Texas, and I have a question about. I'm already on rice level, and what is the best advice you can give me about how to get to ascent? What's the best way, about to get traffic, organic traffic and paid traffic? I mean, I'm a full-time employee right now, and I'm trying to sell my car, to get to the next level, and also I'm posting my links on Facebook groups, and I have a software on Instagram. I'm about to almost 1,000 followers right now, but I really don't know what to do next.
Here's what I would tell you. Amar, right?
Yes.
Okay, so this is what you do, brother. First of all, listen to your coach, right? They have multiple options for you, multiple ways they can advise you how to go to ascent, right? So call your coach tomorrow, schedule your time with your coach, and really follow what they tell you to do, okay? Second of all, you're taking action. That's awesome, brother. You're building your following on social media, on Instagram, and you thinking to do paid traffic, right? So here's the thing. There's something called sponsor luck, right? So there's sponsor luck. So I would advise you to get to the highest level before you drive the traffic. Otherwise, your sponsor is going to get, those sales, right? And you probably love your sponsor, but you know what? I would rather get, if I was you, I would rather get those ascent sales myself, right? And peak on my apex sales, right? So this is what you do. So part one, you talk to your coach, right, about that, right? As fast as you can this week, right? And second of all, keep building your audiences, keep doing what you're doing, but at the same time, I'm going to give you advice that's going to help you convert more sales, okay? Even though you might be thinking that you don't know anything, right? You might be thinking that you just started, start doing videos, start training people on the stuff that you know. You'll be surprised how many people you're going to attract that way as opposed to like posting your link blindly, like, hey, join this, buy this, join this, buy this. People, like especially in Facebook groups, you'll see it's really a nightmare. Everybody's pitching left and right. So instead, come from the position of a trainer and a leader and a teacher and start providing value to the community. You're going to attract much higher quality people to your team, right? And especially if you paint a big vision and you'll tell them like, hey, this is where I am right now. This is what I'm doing, and this is where I'm going. This is how I'm going to help you get there if this message resonates with you, okay? It doesn't have to be super-duper complicated videos. Just to be yourself, be authentic on the video, and you're going to resonate with people that are like-minded. And you're going to build a strong culture on your team and strong team that's going to follow you every single footstep. And this is, my friend, $1 million advice for you, okay? If you do that, as opposed to what everybody else is doing, you're going to see yourself on top of the mountain in no time before you know it. So hopefully that helps.
Okay, excellent. Thank you, Alex.
You're very welcome.
Thank you, Omar. And I hear a couple more questions. We got a couple more minutes. I don't know if Chris can be heard yet. Chris, are you there with us?
John, you hear me?
Yeah, who's that?
John, it's Chris.
There's Chris.
Hey, Alex, Chris from Rhode Island.
Hey, Chris. Yeah, I can hear you.
I got a question for you. How do you win the Maserati in the affiliate contest? What would you do?
If you want to win a Maserati, you're gonna get busy, my friend, because I'm going for it. do a lot of action every single day, and this is what I tell my team as well. Like, before you go to bed, do one extra thing in your business, just one extra thing or two. You're gonna be head and shoulders above your competition. And when everybody's slacking out, they kind of dozing off to sleep. You take one more action. You create an email. You buy traffic. You create another video. You send it to your list, right? You go through actual training that we provide to you guys in the Rise product, Base product, and a lot of products, right? And you actually implement it, right? Download that video to your laptop or your iPad or your iPhone, right? And listen to it on the way to work, right? Compress time. Oh, this is the big one. Compress time. Especially if you're part-time, you got to learn how to compress time. This is what I did in my business when I was starting out. I only had like 2-3 hours a day to build my business, so I was compressing time like crazy. When I go to the gym, when I go to work, I always have my earbuds and listening to trainings, right? Listening to positive words, listening to like Tony Robbins, like to reprogram my mind for success, This is how you compress time. When you have time, when you're driving around, doing errands, going to work, this is what you do, because most people listening to music and they're listening to stuff that's not going to help them make money. You're listening to the stuff that's going to help you make money, and you take extra steps. Oh, one more thing. Before you go to bed, write down things you need to do tomorrow so you keep yourself accountable for success, because you have no boss, you have no manager. We're here to help you and support you. You got your coaches, but we're not going to do work you have to do, right? So what you do is, being smart entrepreneur, if you want to drive that Maserati, you write down a task list of things to do for the next day. So that way, when you wake up, you're not all over the place, all over Facebook, like, oh my God, what do I need to do? What do I need to do? And you're getting distracted constantly. No, you have the action plan for the next day. You wake up and you're, I need to do this, I need to do that, I need to connect with this guy, I need to follow up with this lady, right? And this is how you have your way to success, if you will. This is how you do it. So hopefully that helps.
Awesome. Thank you, Alex. Thanks, John.
My pleasure, Chris. Glad you're here. And we heard one other person who was about to jump out there. Who was that? Okay,
I have
guess
a question.
not. Oh, there it is. There he is. Who's this?
My bad. This is Seth.
Hey, Seth, where are you from?
I'm from Missouri.
Welcome.
I was wondering, will you have help to guide traffic to your website? Like, I don't know how to really put that, or like, just starting out, how are you supposed to get traffic? Like, is there, like, my coach is going to be there to provide or help me with that? Or, I know my coaches have been there for a lot, and they've been excellent.
Yes, short answer is yes. We have traffic coaches, and we also have, Seth, the Rise product content itself. And we're going to be introducing how-to type trainings here on Wednesday nights on the Rise call as well. So there's many, many ways to get traffic. Alex can tell you that getting traffic is not a very difficult thing to do. There is a bit of science to it, but there's a lot of variety, and you'll find different ways that resonate with you. But definitely stick with your coaches, and once you get to that phase of launching your business, there's going to be many, many opportunities for you. So, and then of course, dig into the Rise product itself, for content that's right there regarding that. I will tell you though, and Alex, I don't know that I mentioned this to you, but on Wednesday nights, we're going to be having a variety of different top affiliates that are coming out and sharing their traffic and advertising strategies right here on our conference bridge. So, great question, Seth, and certainly that is something that you will definitely be cultivating throughout your digital altitude career here. So that's something that you'll be learning. So thank you. Thanks for jumping out. I did see a couple of, my pleasure. Yeah, I did see a couple other things here in the chat real quick. Lindsay asks, Alex, and we'll have to go through these quickly, but Alex, what are your daily personal development habits? That question's from Lindsay. Would you like to speak about that, Alex?
Yeah, that's actually a really great question. I'm glad someone asked that question. So when I wake up, I always immerse myself into positive stuff. What do I mean by that? Well, basically listening to the right stuff, right? I love listening, like, thanks God to Amazon who created Audible, because I always listen to audiobooks. It's so much easier for me to absorb that information in an audio format as opposed to reading that, right? Even though reading is powerful, for me personally, and for some people it might be complete opposite. For myself personally, it's so much easier and faster to absorb information in audio format. So I always listen to Audible. If you want recommended list of books, I can share that with you after the call. If you guys want to ask in the Facebook group, that's actually a good idea. We should really create like a Facebook thread with recommended audios and book list, because you need that stuff to reprogram your mind for success. You need to make that shift from being employee to become a successful entrepreneur, because we really think differently like from regular employees. So when I wake up my day, when I start my day, when I wake up, I always start with positive audio, right? Positive video, whatever that is. There's so many personal development gurus, if you will, that you can follow and listen to, right? But at the same time, tons of leaders in our community provide tons of value, tons of stuff that you want to really get into when you start your day. So that way you reprogram your mind for success. You don't listen to negative people. You don't pay attention. You kind of like ignore them, if you will, right? Because that's going to change your state of mind. You don't want that to happen, right? So you always stay positive. And basically, I do income-producing activities in the morning, right? I start my day with income-producing activities. So what does that mean? Well, stuff that's going to make me money, right? So sending content, sending emails, connecting with people, answering people's questions, referring them back to the system, because we have awesome coaches. So you don't have to do so much work, man. 80% of work is done for you by the coaches. So anytime you get a question from a prospect or a teammate, I tell them, like, look, did you finish 18 steps? Go finish your 18 steps with the coaches, because you're not at the same page I am at, right? So that's how I run my business. I always do income-producing activities in the morning, and then I get to a point where I can answer, all the Facebook messages, Skype messages, and everything else, and provide content for my team and do other trainings and stuff like that. But that's my day. That's how I do it. Always focus on income-producing activities in a positive state of mind. So hopefully that helps.
Very good. Thank you, Alex. And the final question here in the chat roll is from Joe. And Joe asks, and I'm a little vague on this, so I'm going to read it twice. Okay. Is there a certain product you promote, or do you promote a product that you have knowledge with? Is there a certain product you promote, or do you promote a product that you have knowledge with? Not sure about that question. If you could decipher that.
Well, yeah, if I can understand that question, maybe, well, like I can promote multiple products, obviously, right, that I'm passionate about. I have used personally, and I know that I can recommend to other people. But if you're talking about digital altitude specifically, I always start with the funnel. So I always drive people through a $1 trial, right? And I enter, you want to get as many people, they're targeted people, right, that want to make money from home, want to make extra money on the side, want to go full-time in this industry, through the funnel, right? And the funnel is basically that entrance, that door, just like in that movie, right? Remember the Matrix, right? He said, oh, I can show you the door, but Neo, you actually have to get up and walk through that door, right? In order for your life to change. So that's what I do. I show people the door, like, this is the door, man. This is the door I went through. It changed my life. Here's the link. Go through it. So hopefully that answers it.
Fantastic. And just to reiterate, we do have one of the simplest things that people can do, especially if they're just starting out or if they don't have experience. Joe says that you nailed it. There you go, Alex. Thank you. So to piggyback on that answer, right? Here's the thing, Joe and everyone. All we do is we drive traffic. We understand that we're marketers. We are manning that post, and only that post, right? If you're an affiliate here, your post, your mission, should you choose to accept it, is to drive traffic to the $1 offer. Yay, that's it, right? You've got a staff of specialists in all different other posts manning those posts for you. So it's a really beautiful thing. And hats off to all the people who have put this together. I mean, my goodness, what a machine. So anyway, I'm glad to be here with everybody. Quick reminder before we wrap it up and hear final words from Alex. We are having an event, in case you haven't heard, Marketing Mastery October 21st, 2nd, and 3rd in sunny Las Vegas. You can go ahead and get early bird tickets and special pricing. The link I just put into the chat roll. I'll put it there again. And of course, it's on your dashboard when you log into your aspiresystem.co. And then also we're having the $150,000 affiliate contest. In case you haven't heard, that's happening, and that's happening right now. Again, you can get details on that on your dashboard. I'll make sure the links are in the description for this recording as well once the recording is posted. Of course, right now, as I'm saying these words, it's not recorded, it's live. So I can't give you a link right now. But check the recording, and you will also have the links for that. Alex, closing comments, sir. Spectacular call, by the way. Lots of love coming here in the chat roll. Everybody loves you, Alex. Anything you'd like to close with?
Well, it's awesome. We could have we made it productive and we could have answered so many questions for people. Final thought, guys. You can do this. I mean, don't overcomplicate a simple system. It's the most easiest, duplicatable, if that's the word, system that I ever experienced, right? So what you need to do is really, here's your homework. Connect with your coach tomorrow, right, or tonight. Schedule your appointment, right? Schedule your time with your coach. Complete the steps. Get your tickets to Las Vegas, because I had an opportunity to go to the first event. I was skeptical. I was actually afraid of flying, so I decided to drive for 20 hours to my first event, and that live event changed my life, right? I made over $1 million in a couple of years after that event. That's the breakthrough experience. That's the breakthrough. I guarantee you experience as well. If you come as an open book and you listen and you absorb all the information that's going to be presented to you and available to you in Las Vegas, and man, what a cool place to go, right? Who doesn't want to go to Las Vegas? So with that, get your tickets to Las Vegas and schedule your time with your coach. So with that, it's a wrap. John, thanks for having me. You're an awesome host, and looking forward to see more of you guys on the next call.
Fantastic. Thank you, Alex. Good night, everyone. We'll see you next week on another Black Diamond call, and we'll see you tomorrow morning on the wake-up call. Make it a great night. Bye for now.